Hey friends, happy Friday the 13th. I thought in keeping with the theme of the day, I would talk to you about some scary real estate situations that you could possibly find yourself in. So these are just off the top of my head. I know we could think of more if I actually sat down and I brainstormed for a while, but the first one is finding out that the house that you are under contract on is in a flood zone or has deed restrictions you didn't know about. And I'm grouping these two together because with a little bit of legwork up front in the transaction, you can kind of avoid both of these two things. So finding out you're in a flood zone, I mean, this can be a really expensive thing. Flood insurance can almost triple what you would pay on an annual basis for homeowners insurance. Not to mention being in a flood zone and the risk of the damage to your property and all of that associated with the flood itself. So you don't want to find out that you're in a flood zone when you're already well underway under contract. Go to your insurance broker right off the bat. Ask them to pull up the latest FEMA maps. They have all the up-to-date information because the maps are always changing. And ask them if the property is in a flood zone. Same with the HOA thing. So if you have an HOA on the property that you didn't know about, or there are deed restrictions saying something like you have to have a certain kind of fence, or you can't have an above ground pool, you can't park RVs in the driveway, those are all common deed restrictions that you don't want to be under contract and having plans at your property and finding out that one of those plans is not gonna cut it. So I group those two together. Number two is, especially for first-time home buyers who are navigating this process for the very first time, not knowing that there are closing costs associated with buying a home. Most people know that there's a down payment and they know there are some costs, but some people have no idea to what extent their closing costs are going to be. Knowing all of that up front, having your lender who does your pre-approval run a scenario for you for an estimated closing cost worksheet. I mean, that is just like, you have to have that done ahead of time. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. And of course, those numbers will change when you actually find a property that you're writing an offer on and that gets accepted, and you can update that. But knowing a rough idea up front is going to save a lot of headaches. And that could potentially kill the deal if you had no idea that you had to bring that much money to closing. Same thing for sellers. Having your agent who you're hiring to list your home give you a seller's net sheet, running through the closing costs associated with selling a home. And again, if you're a first-time seller, you may not know that there are closing costs associated with selling your home. And then taking away those closing costs, how much money are you going to walk away with? So that you can make decisions moving forward. Know your numbers. You don't want to be in a scary position where, now you're further along into this transaction and you didn't know your numbers. And number three, a lot of this can be avoided if you hire a professional. Don't try to navigate this process on your own for buyers and sellers. Your home is probably your biggest asset. Most people only buy and sell a handful of times over the course of a lifetime. There's a lot to know about these kinds of transactions, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And a seasoned professional with great reviews that you can interview and kind of get to know and find out how they're going to help you will be able to guide you through this process, keeping your best intentions in mind. So don't try to go it alone. You end up shooting yourself in the foot, whether you're a buyer trying to negotiate a contract on your own, getting yourself into a situation that could have been avoided. Same with a seller. Your house may sit on the market for a long time. You may have mispriced your house either high or low and could potentially get yourself into some trouble there. So find a local professional, avoid those scary situations, and I'm always here to help. Bye.